What's up, y'all? Welcome to Spill the Beans. Today, I'm sitting down with my buddy Dan Rivers. He's actually been on Spilling the Beans once, and he's a local real estate investor, has a brokerage, has a lot of good stuff going on here in the Charleston market, including the Helm. The Helm is an office building that's kind of like micro offices for entrepreneurs and kind of like a co-working space and a collaborative workspace for a bunch of different real estate entrepreneurs. There's a lot of deal flow, a lot of money flow, a lot of opportunities that come down in here. We actually rent a space from Dan, and I think it's a really cool idea to take a building that maybe doesn't have an amazing use to it and then create an amazing use around it and create a collaborative space that not only turns a liability into an asset for him, but also creates more business opportunity for him beyond just renting out space in a property. So we're gonna sit down with Dan, probably not sit down, but take a tour, walk around with Dan at the Helm. He's very good on a lot of the analytics of what's going on in the marketplace and paying attention to some of that stuff. So I want to talk to him about what's happening today in the real estate market compared to what it was like last time he was on Spill the Beans. So let's go meet up with Dan. Spill the Beans. Dan Rivers, what's up, bro?
Good to see you, man.
Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah.
So we're hanging out at the Helm, and I got a couple ideas for this. One is, let's talk about, obviously, you were on Spill the Beans before. Mm-hmm. A lot has transpired in the real estate industry over the course of the past 18 months or so since that. Mm-hmm. So I want to talk about, but we'll end with that. We'll talk about where the market's at towards the end. What I'd love to do is, you got this online less than 12 months ago. We have space here, having a ton of fun with the team, hanging out, and the collaboration with all the people that are also tenants here. So I thought it'd be cool to take a tour of the Helm, and then let's go check out the studio space in the back.
Yep.
And then let's talk a little bit about what's going on with the market and how things have pivoted.
Awesome.
Is that cool?
Love to, yeah.
So let's do it. Let's go in.
Welcome to the Helm. So I'm super excited about this building, as we've talked about. You're a member here. We got 9 spaces right now, all rented out.
Let's go step by step.
Okay.
How did you find it?
Actually, it was the idea first. So I went at a cigar lounge. I'm talking to Dusty, and I'm smoking cigars, and we're chatting about I'm like, hey, wouldn't it be really awesome if we could find a place to put just powerful investor minds in one office and just build off that synergy?
Yeah.
So I was just talking to Dusty. He's like, yeah, let's do it. Dusty. Dusty's like, let's do it. Come on, let's do it. Probably like 3 months later, I found this building. It was for sale for, I think it was like $1 million, or maybe just under.
And this is like a primo location. So it's you see all the trucks and everything coming through here. It's because the airport's right there, the freeway's right here. They just put in Topgolf across the street. So it's a really, really good location-wise, easy to get to from anywhere in Charleston, within 20 minutes of wherever you live. And there's a lot of development, a lot of good stuff going on over here. So
yeah, you saw the development down the street. Like that's apartments or hotel there. And then you got the Coliseum. So anytime we go to a show, we could park here. It's pretty nice. Avoid the traffic. But I was super excited, and we just found this spot. And honestly, the guys who own the parcel back there, this was all one parcel, and they subdivided it, and they want to sell this off because they built their business back there. I think it's like a flooring company. And so they came, I went to them, and honestly,
it didn't look like this.
No, it didn't look anything like this. It wasn't bad, but it was outdated.
Yeah, very much so.
It was outdated, and we just had a vision. And so I went to them. I actually negotiated seller carry on this to begin with.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I had a seller carry deal, all good, but the problem was they had a bank loan, and the bank wouldn't allow us to take the seller carry down because they had to take a little bit more debt off the books on that back, so it wasn't going to work out. Bottom line, this is in February of 2022.
Yeah.
We got a 15-year straight fixed mortgage on this for 3.55%.
Right before rates went up.
Right before rates went up. So we have a killer deal here. Super excited about it.
Is that a local bank?
It's First Citizens. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So local bank. Yep.
So regional, right? Because they're in like 15 states or something, or maybe more than that. But yeah, they're that's phenomenal. And so found it on the MLS.
Yep, it was commercial MLS. Yes.
Yeah. So LoopNet or whatever, commercial MLS. And then how did you guys raise the money for it? Like, did you guys put up your own cash for the down payment?
So yeah, we did. We ended up buying this for about $715,000. So we need a little over $100,000 for the down payment. So it was me, Dusty, and then I brought in another partner, a good friend of mine, Whit.
Yep.
And so we just became 3 partners on this, and we've used our own cash for that side of the deal and the lending for the main note.
So on the note, it was a construction loan?
No.
It was a renovation
No, just straight
So
note to buy the place.
Straight note.
Yep.
There were no tenants in here, but you got phenomenal terms. And then you guys only had to bring $100,000 down.
I had to bring $100,000 to the
So you had to bring 10% down, but then you guys had to renovate it out of cash.
Yeah. Yeah, we're renovating out of cash because we don't want to refi that rate.
Yeah.
Try to get a second loan on it. We're trying to figure that out. Haven't been able to find a bank yet to do that. But
how much did you guys put into it?
So we're going to be about a little over $300,000 into it.
On top of the million.
On top of the $700,000 purchase. So it'll be about $1 million, a little over $1 million all in. Yeah.
Instead of
we'll be
because
over.
you couldn't get the seller carry.
Correct.
You were able to negotiate a much deeper discount.
Correct.
Okay, so that makes more sense. So you had to bring about 15% down, and then you put another $200,000 into it.
Correct. Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Got it. And so what are we looking at? We have, you said 9 offices?
Yeah, 9 offices. We completely renovated this. Obviously, new flooring, paint. We had a Witt's great with the design eye, and he came up with the vision of this. And I want to talk a little bit about the name. So the name of it's the Helm. And we were actually all sitting down trying to figure out the name. And we said, hey, the Helm's where you steer the ship. It's where we put all these investors in a room to be able to steer that ship to just grow. I mean, think about it. With the powerful people that we have in this building, we could change the economy and how Charleston operates just with our minds and things that we want to invest in and different things to change the area. So we were like, hey, it's the Helm steering the ship.
Are you guys all boaters? I know Dusty does a little bit, right?
I do a little. I used to have a boat for a few years. So
yeah. Good.
Yeah, it's just the good theory. But yeah, so we have some powerhouse people in here. You want to chat about who's in here?
Well, real quick, utility room, restroom.
Correct.
And then 4 offices down here.
3 offices down here.
3?
Yep. That is, this is my office, Rivers Capital Group. Rehab Wallet has that office. And Whit, this is one of my partners.
Yep.
With Civic, he has that office. And then we have a few upstairs.
Oh.
You get to see. There you go.
Oh.
That's the more important one right there.
There it is. You got the kitchen.
Yeah, we obviously try to just make do with the space that we had. So we put a little kitchen in here and then a separate coffee area.
It's smart. This is dead space otherwise.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it was, honestly. It was just sitting here. We were like, hey, let's pop a little kitchen in here. And it actually gave us another office to be able to rent out.
Yeah.
So,
that's a great idea because otherwise you got to turn the kitchen into one of the rooms and it's like a break room and then you got less square footage. This is really smart. This is actually the first time I ever, obviously I've been here and I noticed that it's here, but realize that thought process behind it. So office.
Yeah, we got an office there. You guys here.
Yeah. Eventually we'll get the decor. Oh, got a little bit up. That must have been Cam and the team.
It's better than my office. That actually doesn't look too bad. Claire's and this is Chris Lamb. That office is probably the nicest one.
Really?
As far as the setup, they did a really good job because Claire's touch. This right now is being used as a conference room, but once the back's done, and we'll talk about that in a little bit, this will be Dusty's lair.
Oh, good. Good.
And then
a little
coffee station here.
Dude, I had somebody up here for Spill the Beans and made him a cup of coffee here. They're like, oh my gosh, what kind of machine is that? The coffee was amazing. Cam taking pictures and sends it over to him.
Yeah, Whit picked it out.
Then we got another restroom and then 2 more offices over here.
Yeah, we just had Russ join us. By the way.
Really?
Yeah,
Great.
Russ just joined this office, so
Great.
Excited for that.
Yeah, it's I did something similar for my office building up in Cleveland, Ohio. We had actually 9 offices, and when I was up there, we had a bunch of real estate investors, a bunch of contractors, and a bunch of people that we could do deals with, and it was a cool collaborative space. Kind of fell off. We just rented to whoever after I left, but there's still a bunch of real estate investors that are up there and utilizing the space. We had to take over a little bit more, but it was. You guys are very intentional with it. It's not just a rental space. You guys are much more intentional in that. There's a monthly email that goes out. You guys get food and you guys put it out here and you get everybody together and do like a networking event, and so you're a lot more intentional with it than what we were.
Yeah, we're trying to. The people that we got in here were personally invited, as you know. I called you up and said, hey, do you want a spot in here? We wanted to make sure it was the right people in here. The last thing we wanted were people that joined and they're not adding value. They're not part of that. So, and we also want to add value ourselves. I mean, that's the point of this. So we're starting to have, like you said, we have lunches. We're gonna, we try to post all the investor meetups in there, and we want to build upon that as we grow this, and as this back area fills out. We want to build upon that and have, you know, maybe once a month some really big events here with the food truck and get everybody together to just network and
well,
and
I mean,
grow.
that's the exciting part, is like this back here and how this is getting built out. There's, you know, we have some picnic tables over here. I can't believe Dusty doesn't have like the green egg here, you know.
We will soon.
All set up.
We talked about on the side here, we'll have another area outside, we'll have a side door, and then over there, that's where he'll put the egg.
Oh, nice.
So we can start cooking.
Yeah, I mean, he's a grill master. And but this is the unique part, right? Like,
yes.
The offices are offices, and you can get that anywhere, but being able to have this warehouse space in the back, which doesn't look that big from outside, but once you get in here, you're like, you got vaulted ceilings that are probably, what is it, 15 feet
about
tall?
18 feet at the middle, 18? But yes, yep.
There's so much space, and it's actually, you know, you're walling off a couple of rooms. What's going in all these different areas? Yeah,
so as Tim just mentioned, I mean, this is the vision, you know. So this space is going to be used as kind of a multiple things. We're going to be selling some more memberships here, actually. We're going to be capping it at about 30. And we're going to have co-working space in here. So it'll be about 10 or 12 co-working desks in the middle here.
So we'll have internet over here.
Correct.
Nobody has a designated desk, but it's just you come in here, you grab a space, you throw down, you can meet with people, you can utilize it as that kind of a spot.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's kind of the vision of it. It's like, hey, people, you know, you got all these co-working spots up there. Why not just join here? You could co-work, and then you could have all the other benefits of what we're going to be doing here. I mean, we have 2 full bathrooms, one that's going to have a shower.
Oh,
so
great.
You need to, you know, take a shower before you head out to a meeting or whatever the case is. We're gonna have a full kitchen over here with a swing bar. So the bar is actually gonna swing. So if you're hosting an event, you're gonna be able to have a bartender back there and be able to.
Let's look at it.
Yeah, it's hard to vision with all the insulation on the ground, but over here it's gonna be really cool. So this whole wall is gonna be cabinets in a kitchen, refrigerator, coffee maker, same like we have at the office building. And then here's just going to be a bar along this wall that swings and connects to here. So when you're entertaining or hosting an event, people can come up and have a bar here.
Oh, cool.
You know,
whose idea was that?
Actually, I think I saw it I was like watching Instagram, I saw something, I texted Whit, and I'm like, we need a swing bar. He's like, I'm in.
Can't be that much.
That's how some of these ideas have come up. We just came up with another cool idea yesterday, was that we were trying to figure out how to trim up the top of these walls because of the insulation and how it looks. So we're going to get some thick rope. Again, being the Helm, we're going to get some thick boating rope and use the boating rope as like a crown molding.
I love it. I love that.
To give it just a really cool look.
Are you guys, so this is obviously, you're not going to leave it open, you're not going to just paint it, you're going to drywall all this?
No, we're actually going to keep the ceilings open, we're going to paint them. Probably black.
I was gonna say, I don't think you need to. If you go with like a dark charcoal or black, it almost gives it a little bit of a gritty feel to it, you know?
That's what we're doing. We are going to drywall this wall, or probably some beadboard or shiplap. Yeah, you need but to. That we're going to keep wide open and just paint it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the whole reason why we did this, the spray foam.
I was going to say, they did a really clean job on the walls too.
Yeah, and it's going to look, I mean, I'm just getting more and more excited the more that we move along. And like I said, the couple of bathrooms, the kitchen's going to be awesome. Let's go to the rooms. I think these rooms are really cool.
So 2 bathrooms, you got the kitchen over here.
Yep.
And
this will be an extension of that office building. Obviously, we'll have separate memberships, but this is all an extension. So this is going to be the conference room.
Oh, okay.
So this will be the conference room. You got the vaulted ceilings in here. We're going to have a spot over here that we could put the TV on. We're actually going to move it from there to there. So we have a TV. We're going to put a nice big table in here, probably 10, 12 chairs. And this will be the new conference room.
Yeah, love it.
Keeping that vaulted ceiling feeling. And the cool part, Whit thought of this one. We're going to have these bronze, it looks like boat bulbs outside of each room. So as you turn the lights on, you're going to know someone's in here.
Oh,
it's going to have a reflector. And for I'll tell you.
That's a good thought. And you're insulating this wall, even though it's an interior wall, for soundproofing.
Correct. Right? Yep. And then this is my favorite room. This is the golf simulator room. A little dark in here right now, but this is the golf simulator room. And as you can see, we spray foam this, we spray foam that wall. We're gonna do double layers on both these walls of soundproofing just to get them as quiet as we can.
Right.
projector screen here, and this is where a lot of the deals I think are going to get done. Swinging a club and talking business.
Yeah, because you could put the simulator up here a little bit more.
Yep.
Maybe put a couple couches or something over here, some chairs, some seating.
Yep.
Some people can talk smack while Jed slices it hard to the right.
We'll make sure there's padding on the walls so you don't damage anything.
So he'd slice it hard to the left.
So we'll be hitting the next room, but no, we're really excited about this. We have I think it's a TrackMan we're ordering, and
yeah,
gonna have a good about 12, 15 courses.
Yeah, that's great. We gotta attach the kegerator over. It's gotta run through the wall, so that way you can just fill up beers right here.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And then what's this one?
This is the moneymaker. This is the room. This is the podcast media room. So we're gonna have, it's pretty cool, we're gonna have a red light on this one, so when someone's on air, it's gonna have the red light outside so they know it's being activated. We're gonna put some sort of green screen on this side if people wanna do some recordings and have that background. Probably do about 4, we just talked about this the other day. I think what we're gonna do is get some sitting chairs with a couple of coffee tables.
Yep.
Rather than a table in here. We might have a small table that if we want to use it, but it's more of a lounge and relax as you're shooting podcast.
You're going to see some Spill the Beans episodes in here, but it'll feel like you're in a little cafe and kind of have that vibe. And then if you want more of a formal vibe or you're doing a course or something, then is there going to be whiteboard or anything like that available?
I think we'll add on to it. We'll see what people want to use it for and what they want available in here. We'll absolutely add to it, yeah.
Cool.
But this is where I'm excited about.
And then what are we doing with the big open space?
So as I mentioned, there'll be some co-working space in here.
So are you just going to run desks all over the place?
Just in these 2 spots. So in the middle, there'll be a couple desks.
So over here, you'll have some desks and
Correct.
kind of kind of a cubicle type of a vibe almost?
Yeah, it's probably just open desk, that shared desk with different connections for their laptops and everything, and probably about 8 here and 8 there, so 10 to 16.
Are you running electric down these?
Yep, we got them down on both those sides.
Okay.
And then we'll connect it to the tables.
Yeah.
And then over here, we're gonna do a projector and a screen you can pull down. You can either pop up the screen, we'll have it that you can do presentations and have a whiteboard on that back wall, or pull down the screen. And especially for kiddos, we want this to be, a lot of our members have kids and have families. Hey, come here, you can pop on a movie if you're working or doing something, or if you just wanna have a movie night.
You could have a big, the REI Central meetup could, you could potentially run one of those and then have a presentation that's actually done there.
Yep, so that'll be that area. On this wall, we're gonna eventually put some lockers. We'll have a bookshelf. That door is going away, so that'll just be a wall as well.
That's a good idea. So you have lockers so people can leave their stuff here, huh?
Exactly. We're probably gonna do some larger lockers if you wanna bring your clubs and keep them here, or some smaller lockers. You might have a bottle of bourbon or whatever you wanna bring to,
or your
or gym clothes
or work stuff.
Exactly. So that's how we're going to build that part out, and then kind of keep it open for now. Maybe Nick, maybe we'll throw a ping pong table. I don't know. Thinking about it, but
that's easy to fold up and put in the corner and be able to get some games going.
Exactly. Yep. But I'm excited. So we figured let's get the basics out, see how that operates, and then kind of get the feel from our members. What else do they want in here? And we'll just add to it as we go. I personally want to put something really cool, we have a regular door there. I want to make it a secret door at some point, but
yeah,
we'll talk about that maybe someday.
Yeah, like a little, what do they call those? The Murphy doors, right?
I'm doing
there's Murphy beds, but then there's I think there's Murphy doors that they look like a bookshelf.
Yep.
You push in a certain location and it pushes through. Yeah, dude.
I'm doing that at my house.
It's not that expensive.
No, it's not that bad. To move a book, like you said, opens up.
I'm impressed that you can renovate this and that for $200,000. It seems like
No, it was a little over 3. A little over 3 for both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
In addition to the $100,000 you put down.
Yeah, we put $100,000 down. We put a little over 3 between that renovation and this one. Yeah.
Got it. And that just all came out of cash between the 3 partners.
Correct. Yep.
Got it. So you guys each put in about, I don't know, assuming you're each a third partner, you each put in about $130,000.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
But it'll generate some revenue. What are you going to lease out the desk space for?
See, that's what we're talking about. We have memberships that we're going to start rolling out, and we're going to put this out in about 2 weeks, probably mid-May. where there's going to be corporate memberships and then there's going to be regular single membership structures. Somewhere
so
between
individual or somebody with a team?
Correct. Yep. So people who have those offices, anybody who has a desk in those offices are going to be able to come here and be a part of this and obviously be able to rent out these spaces. So we'll have a calendar for podcast room, for golf simulator, conference, etc. But people who are going to come and be members, there'll be a chunk down between $2,500 and $3,000 down, and then it'll be about $250 a month. And you get to use a co-working space and come to the events, and we'll host probably monthly food truck meetups. We're going to have some probably 2 masterminds a year here. We've been talking about every 6 months have like a mastermind for our members to come chat and just network and use all these
what about
rooms.
So when you start doing the math on that, 250 people, 30 people times $250 a month ends up being...
Is that $7,500 a month?
Yeah, $7,500 a month. So you got $7,500 coming in here. How much is coming in out of those 9?
That brings in just enough to cover the expenses. I want to say it's 90-something hundred, maybe a little over $10,000 a month.
10,000 a month.
Somewhere in that range, yeah.
Yeah.
But it covers the expenses.
Right.
Yep.
So you got 10 plus 70. I mean, that's 17.5. Dude, all of a sudden, this is worth just on the 1% principle puts the valuation of this thing at $1.75 million.
Yep.
Right. Now it's more than just a straight rental, right? There's a little bit of a business element that you're operating it as. But you got a decent property manager who's just kind of handling some of that stuff and organizing some of the events on a monthly basis. It doesn't include any revenue from any events that you host here or masterminds that you host here or corporate rentals or things of that sort, which can really get some things rolling. So that's great, man. And then you'll be all into it for 1.1?
1.1, yeah, in that range, yeah.
Sounds like a decent deal, dude.
It's not, yeah, and obviously we analyze stuff on the return and everything, but it's also the deals, the value, the knowledge that's going to be dropped here. That's where I get really excited. Like, it's just going to be so much of an opportunity here, not just in what we're going to get on revenue, but like just think about ideas and business deals we talk about and opportunities. So that's why we developed it. That's why we built this out.
What about parking? Because obviously the parking's going to be tight, right? It's tight right now with 9 offices. If you have another 30 people, they're not all going to be here on the same days, but because people come here once a week, or but there's going to be some people who come here 5 days a week. Where do they park? Are they allowed to park in the next door?
Yeah, so we talked to the church next door. That was part of when we took this down to make sure we were covered. And we have, I think it was 15 spots here on the property. It gets a little tight, but the church allows us to park there besides Wednesday evenings and Sundays. So other than that,
no cost?
No cost.
Do you have anything in writing with them?
Not yet. I was like, I don't want to rock the boat too much yet, but we've talked about doing that. But that's why we added the gate there.
You went for Easter and made a big donation, and then you have that.
That's what we figured. We'll give him a membership here. Yeah, come on over, use the golf simulator.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we get the church parking for now. There are some properties close by for sale that we've made some offers on, but they want a little bit too much. But if we grab one of those, maybe that's where some excess parking can go.
Yeah, there's a couple of, that's a smart move. That's always one of those things, whenever you look at something in like an urban setting, a lot of people don't pay attention to the parking element. And the parking is what can kill a deal. I was going to buy this awesome mansion downtown, historical mansion, right on East Bay Street, and I negotiated a seller carry on it and all this other stuff, and it was like, it made a lot of sense. I could host events there, but I was like, shit, where's the parking?
Yeah.
There's literally 2 parking spaces for this 12,000 square foot mansion down there. And I was like, I can't, it's not enough parking for the staff to just maintain this thing, let alone guests to come out and rent it, let alone have an event and having, 60 people come and attend a wedding at this thing. And there wasn't any parking anywhere nearby. And I can kill a deal, and people don't pay attention to that kind of stuff. They look at the building itself and not think about the operational elements on an ongoing basis. And parking's a big one. My dad's always a psycho about parking. He's like, "Oh, what about the parking?" I was like, "All right, let me look into it." So, dude, I love it, man. I think it's going to be exciting, and I love that you took something. You're like, "Hey, I need an office space, and I'm going to go pay $1,500 a month somewhere, or $2,000 a month somewhere in order to outfit an office and have this." It's like, why not just buy it?
Yep.
Well, yeah, that it's kind of an asset according to CPAs, but the reality is it's still taking money out of your pocket every single month. Versus, what if I buy something that has multi-unit? I can rent it out. Not only that, Does it pay for my stuff? But now let me take it to the next level, and now this thing gives me, and I know that you pay rent, but then it comes back to you essentially because you're part owner in both entities. And then, but now it's making you money, right? Now it's like the ROI on that is pretty substantial, even though you're out of pocket 130 G's, like you're making a great return on that. And it's your own asset that you're comfortable with, that you're familiar with, that you know inside and out. And it's got a great vibe, dude.
And we did a cost egg. So we did a cost egg this year, so we'll get some back on a deprecation. So
love it.
That works.
Love it. So what's so you got some good stuff going on, and I think a lot of times people I mean we just heard you read about this office building in San Francisco that sold for $300 million in 2020 or 2019, 2021, something like that. And it just got taken back by the bank. It's going to auction. They expect it to, at most, sell for $60 million.
Jeez. Yeah.
Dude, 20 cents on the dollar from what it sold for a few years ago. Yeah. And it shows where office is going. So most people, you say, hey, you want to invest in this office building? And most people right now who are, decently intelligent and sophisticated investors would be like, no, I want nothing to do with office. But that's big office, right? I have 3 properties similar to this that are like micro offices for entrepreneurs who just need to get out of the house and meet with somebody, pretty low cost in order to get into that. It's not, you're not renting 10,000 square feet at a time. You're renting 500 square foot office and all utilities are included, no headaches, and like that. There's still a demand for that, right? WeWork is having some trouble right now, but that's because it's overly priced. This is a very reasonably priced. Same with the couple of buildings that I have where I've done something similar to this, very reasonably priced, and a lot of demand for that still. And so it's understanding the asset class and the type of asset inside that asset class. There's all these different layers on that where you're not just looking at office, you're looking at micro offices, what's going on in the micro community, in the microeconomic area, not just the macro level of what's happening in San Francisco office has nothing to do with Charleston, South Carolina office, right? Like there's a mass exodus out of San Francisco.
Oh yeah.
Friggin' Whole Foods just closed because there were 560 police reports filed in the past 12 months.
Wow.
Dude,
I did not hear
because
that.
of issues in San Francisco, because they got homeless people all over the place. They're anti-police department, which means it's just chaos all over the place. And people come in, they're stealing shit, they're causing, wreaking havoc, and there's businesses leaving because like there's no order, Versus Charleston, South Carolina, pro-business, pro order, right? Like they would never deal with the chaos and the nonsense that some other cities would deal with. And so like people are moving here. Boeing's moving here. It's why Boeing left Seattle and they're moving their entire operation over here, and all the ancillary businesses that support them have come here, and it's growing. And it's a market that a lot of people read in the news on a macro level of what's going on in the overall economy. But dude, I'm not worried about what's happening in the overall economy. I care about my asset, right? I care about where I'm investing, and there's these bubbles like in Charleston, South Carolina, or even my properties in Cleveland, Ohio. Are people growing? Cleveland growing or declining in population? Well, guess what? I have apartment buildings, and I have the nicest apartment buildings in the area. So even if population declines, people are leaving the properties that are not being taken care of, and they're still coming over. The tenants who are still there are coming over to my properties, as opposed to some other areas you got to be, or some other asset classes you got to be aware, like self-storage, for instance. People don't give a shit about self-storage or where they're storing their stuff, So if you overdevelop self-storage for the population, it all starts cannibalizing itself, and everybody's occupancy drops to 80%, 75%, 70% if it gets overdeveloped. So you got to understand this stuff, right? You got to get knowledgeable on some of these things. What are you seeing? Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that's what's happening on the short-term rental market in some of these areas, getting a little flooded. That's why you're seeing some issues there.
Right.
But you made some good points as far as you want to check out the asset class, but you also need to know your market you're in. Because if you're right, if you look at the asset class around the board, it could scare the crap out of you if you're comparing Charleston to San Francisco. But Yeah, I read an article, something online. It's at 50,000 square foot and up office buildings are just getting crushed right now. But that 10,000 square foot and under, these little niche buildings or these mixed use where you have some warehouse and office space, these smaller, people want to rent those because or buy those. Like, they want these little small pockets in places to go to, and they're not spending $5-8 grand a month on rent. They're spending $1,200, $1,500, and they could still utilize the space properly. So, and then also knowing your market, like you said. I mean, I pay attention to how money walks. Like, where's the money going into? Where's it going out of? I think it's like $1.3 billion came into Charleston over the last 5 years from how money coming into the area. And I'm sure, I have not looked at San Francisco, I'm sure the money is walking out of that area. So really knowing your niche, knowing the asset class, and knowing the market is just so important, as you were mentioning.
Shit.
And Charleston here is pretty.
I wouldn't pay $1 for that building, that $300 million building, if I had to live there and have to deal with that shit. I wouldn't do it, man.
Yeah, me too.
Chance.
That's why everybody's moving to the southeast.
Yeah, seriously. Seriously, it's too hard to actually run a business over there. So you bring up a couple good points, and one of which is the micro level, where people are coming, and what asset classes are you investing in right now, or what types of investments are you looking for? Well, before I go into that, let's talk about some of the data and the analytics, right? I know that you always give a market update at the local real estate investors associations, letting people know. What have you seen over the past 12 months? Well, let's say 6 months. All right, we're filming this. What's today? May?
May 3rd, I think.
And the past, obviously, there's been a lot of question marks because interest rates have risen considerably. They were expecting more interest rate hikes in 2023 until SVB went out of business and Signature Bank went out of business and or went bankrupt, and that spooked the Feds. So then now they say, hey, the most we're going to raise the rates is another quarter of a point between now and the end of the year. What have you seen over the past 3 to 6 months in market trends, at least here in Charleston or on a national level?
Actually, I'm going to go the full year if that's okay. And then 3 to 6 months. So the full year, that first 4 months of 2022, where we know the market was still booming and inventory was low, versus these first 4 months, we actually have less inventory these 4 months than we did those 4 months.
Even with interest rates more than doubling from 12 months ago.
Even with interest rates more than doubling. I actually looked today, we have about 2,200 homes on the MLS, Charleston area, MLS, 2,200 homes. If you do single family detached and take away new builds, we're around 1,300 homes for sale.
Wow.
For about just under 1 million people. 1,300 homes for sale. And what I'm seeing a cause of that is a lot of these people that bought their homes or refinanced over the last 3-4 years and have a 3% interest rate, 2% interest rate, they don't want to sell unless they have to. So
nobody's going to refinance right now.
Exactly.
Who has refinanced in the past 5 or 10 years, really? And nobody wants to sell right now unless you really have to sell.
Unless you're upsizing, downsizing, there's reasons to sell. But we're seeing that a lot of people are holding tight, and kind of rightfully so. Like, why wouldn't you? I mean, I have 2 homes that I have a 2% interest rate on. I'm not selling those things. 30-year notes. I mean, it's free money. So it's funny that, with the interest rates rising, you would think that would help with the inventory, but in these hot markets and these people who have the equity in their homes and a great interest rate, they're not moving.
So is it cash that's coming in and buying these houses now?
I have a little bit of both.
At least here in Charleston.
You got a lot of first-time home buyers. You got tenants realizing, hey, all these rents have gone up. I want to go buy my first home, even though the rates are a little high. We always say in the real estate world, you marry the house, you date the rate. So that they're like, it's, we'll figure out a way. Sometimes you can do rate buy downs. You can be kind of, you had a good agent on your hands. You could help structure a deal to hopefully help them with that part of the rate.
That's a great
things
point.
Change.
You're like, hey, I'm buying this house, and I don't want a 7% mortgage. Well, guess what? It's a period of time that you have a 7% mortgage until rates drop. If you can absorb that for the next 24 months or 36 months or 60 months even, and realize you got a great deal on the house because rates were high, and you got to eat it for a couple of years, but eventually you can refinance into that 4% mortgage again, and have that for the next 25 years of your mortgage. Dude, that's a great perspective to look at.
Exactly. Right? Yeah, and there's some programs out there too. You can do a 2-1 rate buy down, and even though it's 6.5%, your first year could be 4.5%, second year 5.5%, and by the time you hit that third year, hopefully you can refi out of it and you have something in the 5s that you can have a little bit. Yeah, so there's ways to be creative to still buy and still get good deals in this market. But yeah, especially hot areas like Charleston County, if it's a right home in a right area priced right, they're flying off the shelves.
Yeah.
I'm still seeing multiple offers on the right homes in the right areas.
Yeah.
You know, Dorchester, Somerville, you got a lot of these new builds are settling in. So like if you're in that 400, high threes, low four mark, there's a lot of new builds that are competing with homes in that area. So that's a little bit different. But in Charleston County, I mean, I looked yesterday, there are 6 homes for sale, $450,000 and under in West Ashley.
Really? That's
6
it?
homes for $450,000 and under.
Cam, you can go make some money on your house. Cam sat down. Cam started working with us almost a year and a half ago. Yeah. No, it was January, right? January of 21.
Yep.
And so within 4 months, yeah, Cam's like, I think I want to buy a house. I was like, let's do it, Cam. And then she went and bought a house in what, July?
Yep.
July of 21. And in less than 24 months. And you bought it for what, $315 or something? $243. And in that community, which has a lot of homes.
Yep.
West Ashley's a big community, and there's only 6 houses less than $450,000 today. Cam.
Let's put it on the market.
Straight up.
I'll live here.
The question mark is like, if you sell, you got to buy in that same market, you know. But you'd have enough cash where maybe you could buy something at a pretty deep.
It's all about ROE, right?
Yeah, that's right.
What's that
Return
equity
on your
there?
equity,
Does it make sense to move it or not? Yeah.
But I will say, as I've gone through my career in real estate and as I've grown my portfolio, if you have a good property, I wouldn't sell it.
Yeah.
Right? People are like, well, I got this equity in my property. I could sell it for this much money. I could, pull this off, and then I can go buy something else. Dude, if it's a good property and it's in a good area, and you have good financing in place, and it's easy to manage, I don't give a shit if you got $600,000 of equity in it. Hold it.
Yeah.
Hang on to it long term. That's the wealthiest people that I know, man. They buy great properties in great areas. They manage it in-house typically, and they never sell.
Yep.
Dude, and they put good financing in place, right? That's, I think, would be a fifth one. So if you have a good property, you got a 30-year mortgage on it, it's at sub 4, maybe even sub 5%, and it's an area with demographics that are growing. People are moving to that area. That's probably the easiest demographic. If you're looking at is an area growing or not? Well, there's 2 reasons why an area would grow. Are people moving there? And what's the age of the people that live there? Are they having babies?
Yep.
Right? So like you can go to the villages and say, hey, a lot of people are moving to the villages in Florida, and a lot of people move. Well, guess what? They're moving there, but nobody's having babies there, right? They're all beyond that.
And they're dying
phase.
off a little bit there.
Right.
So it's like you have to balance.
Right. And population's decreasing in some areas too because of that. And so Charleston, there's a bunch of people moving here, and they're child rearing ages, right? And they have a lot of bandwidth of lifespan, right? And so because of that, population is going to continue to grow.
Yep.
And that's the misnomer that people have had about real estate for the past 70 years is buy real estate, it always goes up. No, it doesn't. It always goes up if population's always going up.
Yep.
Right? If population's going down, the real estate values don't. Like, look at Japan. Look at China.
I was going to say China right now. Yeah.
Substantially, and the population's falling. Like, I just saw that China's going to lose the highest population of any country by, by the end of this year, I think? I think it's like July of this year. India is going to surpass population over China. They're going to hit 1.4 billion or something by the end of this summer. And that's because China has not been populating, right? Like they
put in those strict rules not that long ago. Yeah.
No more.
One kid.
Yeah, one kid.
It was one kid for a while.
And everybody wanted a boy.
Yep.
Well, guess what? It's hard to repopulate if you got a bunch of boys rolling around and only a handful of girls. Versus, because that was just like that's the culture. They want boys. That's how they operate. And so, but if you had a bunch of girls with a handful of boys, you can repopulate the country. But Other way around, it's very, very hard to repopulate. So, and they overdeveloped because of the idea that population is just going to continue to grow.
And by the way, you got an anatomy class here. I mean, that's the extra value you get added at the Spill the Beans.
And so it's like you need population growth in order to continue and sustain the market growth. And there's like these little like certain parts of Florida and the Southeast and the Arizonas, the Texases, and some of those areas. What I'm intrigued to see is over the course of the next 10 years, all these people who moved out of the Northeast, right? You're from Boston, and the Midwest, and came into these areas, in California, where the population's not there anymore. Like California's still having babies, right? Even though people are moving out, there's a lot of young people in California, and so. To see what happens over the next 10, 20 years in some of those areas where a lot of people moved south, there was a mass exodus out of the Northeast, out of New Jersey, and out of these areas, and they move into the South. What happens to those markets, over time? And so it's fascinating. So we know kind of how the markets have shifted. Here at least, there's still a ton of demand for good properties, priced right in good areas. What are you seeing as far as opportunity in the next 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, so I've seen a little bit more coming up. We just actually were closing in 2 days on one at a foreclosure auction. So I'm seeing a little bit more opportunities at the foreclosure auctions, although we went yesterday to bid on one and we got outbid by about $160,000. But that's Charleston County. But yeah, we just bought one on Lake Moultrie, on an inlet that has a waterway to the lake. Yeah. We got that at an auction, and we closed on it in 2 days. So we're seeing like little opportunities there, like a little bit more coming on the auction list. We're seeing a little bit more off-market activity as far as, off-market activity really shut down for a little bit. Not shut down, but it was a lot harder to find something. Seeing a little bit more of that pop up, but the numbers are still crazy right now. Yeah. I mean, at least for me and my team, we're pretty conservative.
Yep.
So because of that, we have one more flip on the market right now. We have no flips in the pipeline. So we had to pivot. We're like, hey, what are we going to do to continue generating income? So we had the real estate sales side, but we're pivoting our approach to what we're looking for now. So we have that one on, like I said, on Lake Moultrie. We just closed on one yesterday. Is
that going to be a short-term rental?
That's going to be a short-term rental. Yeah, it's two different buildings. It's really cool. The front home will be a 3-2. Back has a boathouse you can pull the boat up to. Will be a 2-2.
That's cool.
And do a double Airbnb there with the boat dock. Maybe a boat. We'll see if we're going to.
Pretty easy to get Airbnb licenses up there?
Yeah.
Not like here.
Airbnb is a lot easier. I have one in Bono already, and it's been operating pretty well, and that's not on the water. And then we just took down one yesterday in Manning. I'm excited about this one. It's 34 boat storage units. I think it's 4,000 or 5,000 square foot warehouse and 2 houses on 2.5 acres, and we're going to have lake access there too and put a dock.
Oh, okay.
So 2 Airbnbs, rent out the warehouses.
How long does it take to get a dock up?
Probably about 6 months. I mean, you got DHEC to go through all this, so probably about 6 to 8 months.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, we can have it all operating, and we have the boat storage there with 2 boat landings within a half mile. So it's right there. So we're really excited. That's the biggest asset I've purchased under RCG.
Yeah.
I mean, I've invested in syndications, but the first one we've taken in-house.
Yeah.
So excited about that one.
That's awesome. What size is that?
2.5 acres, 34 boat storage, 4,000 square feet. Price-wise. We bought it for $300, and we're putting about $320 in. Yeah. So we'll be all in for 6 something, and based on our estimations, it'll be worth about 1.2.
Yep. Love it.
Yep.
No, I love it, man. And that's the key, is having the flexibility, having a little bit of knowledge in many different asset classes, and then figure out what you want to go dive deeper in.
And be ready to adapt.
And have the resourcefulness, right.
Mm-hmm. You got to be able to adapt. A lot of people are like, hey, this is what I know, this is what I do, and that's great if that's working. But when it's not working, what happens? If you don't adapt, you force it.
Yep.
And people lose their shirts when they start forcing things.
You're right.
So me and my team on a constant basis, I tell them to challenge me. I hire 8s and 9s for a reason. I don't do it so they're all yes people. Hey, tell me, what are you seeing in the market? What are we seeing happen here? How do we pivot? How do we make money? How do we protect ourselves?
Yep.
And do it as a team.
Yep.
So that's how we've been able to.
Love it, brother.
survive.
Appreciate
chatting with you.
Appreciate the update. Love the space. Can't wait to see when it's all finished. We'll do another walkthrough when it's all done. What are we thinking? How much longer?
Hopefully, we'll say sometime in June is the hopeful point.
So the next 45 days.
That's our hope. Yeah, we're waiting on, as you can see, these guys at work, and we have
I've been in construction.
couple inspections.
That means October, all right?
Yeah. I mean, this has been going on for what, a year? We closed on this in February, so this is how long it's been taking. But our hope is it's live this summer.
Yeah, that'll
super
be good,
excited.
Man.
Yep.
It's super exciting. Well, good. Congratulations. Appreciate you being here, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
All right. Hey, hopefully you got a ton of value out of that. If you got some good insights, I'd love to hear it in the comments section. Please share this with somebody who might get some value out of it. And if you would do me a favor, just give me a like on the video and make sure you're subscribed to the Legacy Wealth channel. We're always trying to provide great value, insights to help you out with your entrepreneurial journey, building up some wealth, your personal finances, and obviously real estate as well. So appreciate you. See you on the next episode of Spilling the Beans.